cool as it comes in, which is different than just applying it after I gained it. Because that means that I don't need to be level, 33 or something. Instead, I just go out and I gain like 5 experience and it starts repairing. That is much better. Infinitely better. Additionally, I believe it is raining outside right this moment, because I can hear what sounds almost like a fan or water hitting plastic or something. That's what I listen for when I'm listening to see if it is raining, is the sound of something akin to maybe a fan running, just very, very softly with a bit of static, sort of a type of noise. The sound of rain can be very comforting. It's what's known as a white noise. It is very bland and basic and good to just kind of trance with. And trance is a good thing because, I don't know if you've noticed, but elves use trance. The elvish trance is actually quite fascinating of a topic. If you are, in fact, interested in such things, I shall tell you more about it. The elven trance, if you have watched... I don't remember the specific name. I think their name was Mr. Rex on YouTube, spelled RHEXX. If you manage to watch their YouTube video on what the Monster Manual doesn't tell you about elves, then Mr. Rex can easily inform you of the fine details. But simply put, the elves, such as Dragonus, for example, do not need sleep. They do not require sleep biologically. It is not something their body actually needs. Instead, they require a bit of a downtime. You could think of it similar to a lunch break, or a siesta, as the Mexicans would call it. They need a short break for a brief period of time, specifically 4 hours of time, where they can just kind of sit there and think. And what the elves do when they are in this trance, where they're just sitting there thinking, is they're actually remembering all of the times that they were with their god, the elven god, and they're remembering all of their past lives, and they're remembering all of their past incarnations and all of their past forms, and they're looking at all of this information and they're reliving all of these memories. They're actually reenacting it all in their mind, and they are paying attention to the most extremely minute of details. The tiniest of details is important to them because it is, first of all, it's a memory of them spending time with their actual god. Not just an avatar of, but no, like in physical form of their god type of spend time with their god. Like legitimately spending time with their god is what they are remembering. That is quite the thing to be experiencing, no matter who you are. It really doesn't matter who you are. That's quite a thing to experience. Not everyone gets to actually interact with their God. And the ones that do are usually quite lucky. But, for the elves, it's just something they remember. They remember exactly what their god's personality was like. They remember, their favorite colors, their favorite crayons, they remember just everything in extreme detail. Like, we're talking, basically it's the equivalent of uploading a video in the resolution of 1,800, what is it, 1080p? Yeah, it's like 1080. Like, uploading a video at that resolution or larger, like uploading a 4K video or an 8K video at like a 4K or 8K resolution video back in 1980. That is the equivalent of what's going on there. Elves remember things in extreme detail. Like I said, it's the equivalent of uploading an 8K video resolution, an 8K resolution video in 1980. Like, everyone else is set to time frame of the 1980s. Meanwhile, the elf is remembering everything in, like, 8K resolution. It's like, oh my lord, you know so much about him. How are you so sure of yourself? It's like, well, he told me. It's like, he told you. Well, yeah. When did he tell you? Oh, about, 3,000 to 800,000 years ago. 800,000 years ago? You're not 800,000 years old. Well, no, but I remember all my past lives. Oh, that's different. He told you in a past life. Okay, that's much different. Here, I thought you were just making shit up and sounding crazy. It's like, no. Why would I do that? That's stupid. It's like, yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, like elves really enjoy having their trance. Even if they're immortal, an elf will still try to trance whenever possible for their first 100 years or so. And beyond that, they'll utilize their trance to reflect upon their day and find out, that they'll evaluate how well they did that day. They'll sit there and they'll say, hey, did I do good? Did I, manage to do anything especially amazing? Did I explore anywhere new? They'll go over all of this stuff in their head and they'll process the information and they'll say, hey, like, I had all of these things that I realized and came to the conclusion of, and I want to go over all of this with you. And they're like, okay. And they'll just start talking and talking and talking, and you'll be like, when did you have time to think about all of this? And they're like, oh, the first 4 hours while you were sleeping, and then I read a book, and it's like, my God, do you ever sleep? No, I'm an elf. Of course I don't sleep. Are you kidding? What do you think I am? Some kind of human? It's like, well, I had hoped. But no, we got an elf. Because how bad could an elf ranger be? It's like, well, the fact that I was picking the name Walker kind of should have maybe thrown a few red flags, and the fact that I picked Brawler Feet, yeah, that probably, it's like, yeah, and the fact that you went subclass of Monk, yeah, that one was on me. It's like, yeah. That's a Walker Texas Ranger reference, in case you didn't catch it. Which, you know, great guy, Chuck Norris. Real nice fella. Never met him before, but I do know he is a very nice person. I've heard plenty of people talking about him. He sounds as though he's a very fine, upstanding young man. Well, I wouldn't exactly call him young. He's actually decently old. But he is a very fine, upstanding gentleman. But there is, you know, there's a context to everything, really. And currently, my primary context involves basically excavating a lot of materials in order to build up a stable foundation, because I want a foundation that is going to be able to withstand very, very intense pressures from, well, having an entire base sitting on top of it, for starters. It's usually the first starting point. It's like, well, what's the primary thing you're going to be holding up with this foundation? It's like, my entire crafting area, all of the farms, you know, just the entirety of my base. It's like, ah, yes, the entirety of your base. Okay, that is a lot of weight. It's like, yes, it is. You know what? It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to navigate this. Ooh, that one's got coal in it. I'll start with that. Oh, this one's got coal as well. Nice. the majority of the majority of my players are aware that, you know, the town is racist, as I have just point blank told them, hey, just so you know, this is a predominantly human town. You know, you are the minority. And they were like, okay. I'm like, expect racism. And they're like, okay. And then, like, they didn't really notice the racism at first. But then as things started progressing, they started realizing, hey, like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here looking at these prices, and I'm remembering that a lot of these things are a lot cheaper normally than what they're listed at here. What's going on with that? It's like, well, you could haggle. And they're like, yeah, I think I'm a haggled the prices. See if I can maybe get the price lower. It's like, that's probably a good idea. And so they start, you know, persuading the shopkeepers, and they started having their characters discover, oh yeah, like the people in this town, they'll probably try and take your money if you let them. Like they're decently mean enough to just kind of be assholes. One player actually got into a fight with another group of adventurers in the Adventurers Guild, and the adventurers were kind of, you know, in their more relaxed natures. They were feeling more off-duty type of situation, you know. They didn't feel as though they were preparing to fight for their lives. Unlike Ogmul, who actually kind of was not necessarily fighting for his life, he was fighting for his freedom, which in Ogmul's case is kind of the same thing, because he's a half-orc. And, you know, between his orcish mom and his Goliath dad, he's kind of accustomed to needing to basically correlate fighting for his life with fighting for his freedom. And he just kind of went and, you know, killed some of the adventurers, and then he had to deal with disposing of their bodies, which he actually managed to do so quite easily because he threw it at a hungry troll. The troll was like, ooh, food, and just kind of ate the bodies. That's the shortened version, as it were. That situation was figured out during the dragon attack on the city of Melodia, which the players still have not yet discovered was caused by the evil noble basically residing in the forest alongside a vampire, which the players have not yet met. They have heard notes of him. However, the current players actually have no idea who this noble is, because these players have not been sticking around long enough to actually know that information. My current players have no idea who the noble is, actually. because these players specifically have not yet had a chance to encounter the noble. We have gotten close to encountering the noble at one point. However, when the players ended up, properly facing off against said noble, the players found themselves on the losing end of perception checks. The players were not doing very well on perception checks at the time that the henchman of the noble was present. Therefore, the players just kind of missed out on that opportunity of identifying the henchman and or noble and or interrogating and other options. Like, the players missed out pretty greatly. That is a net loss on stone. Oh my. I mined stone slower than I was smelting it. There we go. Then the gravel, which still needs to be moved. And then I believe we were at this one. Okay, so I need 2 stacks of regular stone. Need to come over here with this first stack. Over here with this second stack. And then I do that and that. Now I can do this and this and this and this. And this and this and this and this. Now, I've got more than enough smooth stone on me to actually go about digging some more materials. I'm going to want more smooth stone. I'll just grab it all. And then for the regular stone, for the regular stone, I want to deposit the regular stone back where it belongs, but I don't have a full stack of it yet. And for the sake of time, I shall... for the sake of specifically preserving time, I shall go ahead with... Wow, seriously? Okay, we're just gonna finish this off with some regular coal, because this is getting obscenely expensive. Like, jeez. You know, 7 blocks of iron, 2 blocks of gold, no remainder, which I find pretty awesome. You know, I think that's pretty neat. No remainder on that. Just an exact craft of exactly that much. That's pretty cool. Oops. Yeah. Okay. This is why I mostly spent the majority of the time just doing the tedious form of digging, is because this step where I'm just going through and filling in all of the foundation is just very, very slow and tedious and meticulous work. You know, it's not exactly something that is an enthralling performance. It's kind of just this, you know? And then once I've got all of this filled in, I still have to go over it with another layer of half slabs, which I'll probably use this for. Then once I've got all the half slabs in place, I'll want to go and fill in a majority of the ceiling, at least, in order to properly decorate the roof. You know, because I've still got the upper floor that will need decorating once I'm done with this lower floor. Currently, I'm just working on the foundation. You know, gotta have a good foundation, otherwise the you know, in real life at least, if you don't have a good foundation, then you're probably not going to have a house for very long. If you do have a good foundation, however, then you're probably going to be living there for a while, because you got a really good foundation and you can really build on that, you know. Of course, maybe you prefer it with a more spacious design. Yeah, maybe you prefer maybe you prefer it with a more spacious design, and that's fine. But, me, I prefer my base with a lot of things just kind of built up in and around it and atop it, and like just all over the place, really. Here, let's try digging out some of this section on the surface and see how much of this we actually need to just go really deep on. Because some of this stuff is just really shallow and does not require very much at all. Yeah. So you can see right here, like, there are segments where it's just mass quantities of bedrock. Like, yeah, as you excavate it down all the way to y=2, it does quickly become a lot more, a lot more compacted, as it were. A lot more varied. That's the word. It becomes a lot more varied. And the reason for that is because it's basically trying to figure out, is there bedrock above me? If not, do I need to be bedrock? That's how the Minecraft world generation operates, in case you were curious. It's sitting there saying, okay, am I stone? If not, do I need to be something else? Do I need to be Minecraft air? Am I breathable? Am I a transparent block? Meaning, am I see-through? Am I the type that has a alpha layer, as it were? That is one thing that Minecraft did really well. They managed to apply the alpha layer as a constant in the game, which allowed them to set up the air as a transparent block. It is it has a texture. It's just missing. There is no texture for air. That is the texture. The texture for air is that there is no texture. It is a very confusing statement, because if people go looking for the texture for air, they might not find it, because the texture is that there is no texture. I believe, however, there is, if they look carefully enough, an actual texture file. I believe it is a transparent block, if I recall correctly, which basically means it is just 100% alpha. I believe it's considered a fluid officially, because it just gets everywhere. And that's an easy way for them to mitigate the air not being everywhere at once, is that they can set it as a fluid so that the air will spread indefinitely. If the air spreads to another section that has no block type whatsoever, then it will spread an air source block to that block type. To that block type location. navigating all of the various areas that I have to jump through, quite literally, is a little bit difficult. Go. It's not too difficult. I mean, it's not dangerous or anything. It's not like swimming where you might drown or something, but you know, it's requiring attention to detail. Okay. Yes, that will happen every now and then. Okay, and then we've got this one. Yep, looks like this one's good. Okay, now we just shovel through the dirt, and we're good. Yes, that would be an issue, wouldn't it? I did not actually have any inventory space set aside for dirt. Well, I'll tell you what I can do. The sweet sound of rain. So beautiful. Okay, now I can fill in this section here, as well as this section here, in order to provide myself a means of traversing this area unopposed. Let's try placing these down here. And let's additionally move these over here. Now I can put this there. I'm able to keep track of my building materials now. Throw those down, pick them back up. That causes me to attempt to stack any items that are of the same type in my inventory. You'll notice I threw down 63, picked up about 47. The reason for that is because the rest of the 63 ended up going into various locations within my inventory, which were not yet a full stack. Speaking of a full stack, I just used a full stack of smooth stone just now, because I've been filling in this foundation. You know what? There's a lot of foundation to fill in. Yep, there is lots of rain going on outside my bedroom window. I always feel weird during rainstorms because, for whatever reason, I just get the urge to read a biology book in a windowsill somewhere. No idea why. Possibly past life or something. Who knows? Oops. As my tools are quite obviously reminding me, this is a good point in time for mentioning to like the video, subscribe, helps me, helps the channel, tells YouTube that this is the type of content that you enjoy seeing or that you enjoy listening to, either one really. I don't really mind as long as I'm getting what is known as airtime. As long as my videos are being played and having attention paid to them, I am not exactly all that concerned, because as long as I am getting subscribers, as long as I am getting hours viewed on my videos, I am able to progress towards unlocking the YouTube advertising partnership program section of the YouTube website, meaning I will be able to start having ads in my videos, which will allow me to start generating profit. Currently, my videos qualify for ads, but do not actually get any ads as far as I am aware. I have not personally seen any ads on my videos, therefore I do not believe that I currently have any form of advertisement on my videos. That being said, however, I wouldn't put it past YouTube to insert ads on my videos for other people, depending on whether or not a variety of criteria are relevant. It could be adware, it could just be maybe YouTube is inserting the ads. There's all kinds of different things it could be. I'm not going to start pointing fingers because, there is so many different things that it could be that there's really no way to rule it out. There's no way to rule any of it out. It's just so many different things that it could be. We would need basically a Kali Linux system to be able to actually go through all of the options of what it could be that is actually providing you with advertisements. And to be honest, if we have a Kali Linux system, by that point, you're actually beyond the point where it's just me helping you. By that point, it's just you helping you, because if you have a Kali Linux system, that means you are running a Unix operating system, and Unix operating systems are entirely built around personalization. If you have a Unix operating system, you have a personalized operating system. There's no two ways about it. It is a personalized operating system. And if it's not, it is the environment for a personalized operating system. Like, it is incredibly built around personalization for a single individual user. If it's not built to your specifications, because it's Kali Linux and because it's Unix, the user can change it. And it's like, well, there's really nothing I can do for you by the point where we're getting into Kali Linux. If we're getting into Kali Linux, then like there's just nothing I can do by that point, because we're into a custom operating system type of situation. And yes, Kali Linux is built for network security. I am aware of that, and that is specifically why we would need the Kali Linux operating system, because we would need to utilize network security tools in order to figure out what's providing the YouTube advertisements to your device, if we were trying to specifically navigate through every possible option. That being said, there are plenty of reasons why it could be just YouTube being YouTube. YouTube's been known before to just randomly include ads for no reason. I have no idea why, but they have. I don't know the reason for why. I think it has something to do with the Google algorithm for their AI, possibly learning through the use of watching videos on YouTube with the user. It's a bit of a long shot, but if the AI did try that, that would teach it decently quickly. It would have a decent pace. It's just a matter of teaching it how to interpret what it sees. The real difficulty specifically arises from things like live streamers of games of the game Dead by Daylight, where you play as a survivor who's trying to survive this killer who's trying to kill your character. And it's like, well, I don't like playing those kinds of games. First of all, I don't really have that same fight or flight response. I just have fight. Okay? I don't have the flight option. I don't do flight option because, the flight option is, the retreat. And it's like, well, I don't have a retreat setting, I'm kind of, I personally am not complete. I'm not an intact human being. I have a limited emotional spectrum. Certain things just don't work on me. Or in me, I should say. Not just on me, but in me. Certain functions within my body do not operate properly. The reason why that's important is because, if the Google bot is, or any bot is actually watching YouTube videos to study them, then that means that they would want to watch, videos such as mine, where they're studying people in order to understand them. They want to be able to conceptualize why the humans behave this way. And for an AI, that is incredibly difficult because we're talking about an entirely different species. It's like a human studying a monkey. It's like, yes, I believe one of us may be the ancestor of the other, but have you considered that perhaps, maybe, just maybe, you might not be correct? And it's like, well, why wouldn't I be correct? Well, there's all of these considerations for starters. It's like, okay, we're just off to a really, really lovely start here, aren't we? All of a sudden, there's just all of this stuff going on. It's like, no, I had not considered that perhaps Abraham Lincoln was behind it all. What does Abraham Lincoln have to do with it? Nothing. But had you considered that Abraham Lincoln might have had something to do with everything? Just everything? No. Regardless of whether or not they were, did you consider it? No. And that's kind of a limitation of AI, is an AI will have considered it because they consider all aspects, not just, high probability aspects, but all aspects get actually evaluated. Now, I am receiving large quantities of lag, like exceptionally large quantities of lag. However, if I manage to lure these guys properly, I believe I can manage to get them to either run themselves into my pickaxe and they can die that way, or I can get them to fall down and injure themselves and they will die that way. I believe that is all of them. This one. There we go. Now that I have completed that task of killing all of those slimes and gathering their slime, I have a slightly more repaired pickaxe. I also need to find where this experience orb is actually located. Oh, I found it. Cool. That is a known bug on Bedrock Edition, by the way. The experience orbs not being where they appear to be located. It might appear that you have experience in your kill chamber, but in actuality, it's over in your experience collection area. If it was set up properly, and you're testing it, and you're sitting there going, I can't figure out why it's not set up properly. I did everything right. Maybe it's because it is set up properly. It's just Minecraft being Minecraft. Yeah, let's fill this in. Ooh, bit of lightning. Thunder. Nice. Real lightning and thunder, not Minecraft. Let's see. But now we have a very, very well repaired pickaxe because we went and hunted all of those slimes. You'll recall that the pickaxe was at roughly half its durability remaining. Now it is closer to approximately, I want to say, like 7/8